Hi y'all, it's Andrea over at Sewspire.com, and I am so excited to show you my latest design. I've been working on this project for several weeks, and part of that includes a completely new tutorial format that I want to take a few minutes and explain to you. So you don't freak out. There will still be tutorials made the original Sewspire way as well. This particular format will only be used when it is a very complex project that really is not conducive to a full-length video tutorial. So I just want to emphasize that again. We will, though, be making other projects from start to finish together for those of you that are just joining us. And if you take a little bit of time and watch some of the videos I've made over the last 3 years, you will be up to speed in no time and be able to tackle this project. So anyways, without further ado, let's jump right into this. This is my Lifestyle Tote Bag. It was a design that, again, was derived out of need. My best designs are a result of a need that I have or that a customer has, and then I refine that process. So I wanted a bag that would accommodate all of the different aspects of my life. I just recently added another business venture with the Young Living essential oils. And so this bag in particular was designed to transition from the studio to the oil business with very minimal effort on my part. But that being said, I really feel like this is a project that you can customize, and that was my intent, that you would be able to customize this bag to suit your lifestyle. So the first thing that I want to introduce to you is a new technique that I actually learned from one of our AMC subscribers. Her name is Jackie, and it was her beautiful mother, Christella, that taught her this, and I want to thank them both for passing this along, and I have Jackie's permission to share this with our community, and I think that's incredibly generous of her because this technique is phenomenal. So as you can see, this is a paper bag, and it is crafted from paper and tape. Now, this was a prototype for the lifestyle bag that I am going to teach you how to make today. And I made this while I was sitting in bed. I just got some tape and some paper and a black Sharpie marker and went to town. Now the benefits of this are, first off, your prototype will be extremely low cost. There's basically no risk involved in making a paper prototype. The second key benefit, which I realized and our AMC community realized when they started using this wonderful technique, is oftentimes the measurements that we imagine are larger or smaller than we think. And so it's a terrible shame, and it's happened to me, I'm sure it's happened to you all too. It's a terrible shame when you take the time, cut up the fabric, and realize it doesn't fit or it doesn't work for your intended purpose, as was the case with this. Prototype allowed me to visualize how all the components were going to come together, but then I realized it wasn't tall enough. So with hardly any time or expense, I was able to modify that because I used Christella's paper bag technique. One other perk to that is you can fold that flat and stow it with very little space, and then pull that back out when you're ready to recreate that design again. Now, I simply must show you the Lifestyle Tote in real life. And it is fully loaded up. I've already begun using it. This is the front of the bag. It has a full-length pocket there, and then that was specifically designed to hold my catalog. Then it has two side pockets which will fit a water bottle, And then on the other one, I'm using that currently to hold my pens. And then inside, what makes this bag so very cool is there are 2 compartments here. Okay, one of them is open and is a very deep compartment. I currently have a moleskin in there. Then you have a very spacious interior compartment, and that holds a planner, which I'm trying out. I have 2 divided pockets for the charger, glasses, and then on the back side here is another very deep pocket with the zipper closure that holds my MacBook perfectly. Okay, so when those contents are in there, this bag stands upright like that. And it actually does stand alone, no problem. But then this is the part that's so cool and so clever. The sides of this are shorter. So you can fold those sides over, and this opens up like the doctor bag that you all loved. And you can see here, now get a better look of what that inside looks like. You'll notice there are some clear vinyl pockets in there that hold essential oils absolutely perfectly. And I have 2 rows of those. Now let's just say that you have not yet discovered the wonderful world of essential oils. Those little pockets would be amazing for jewelry, also for cosmetics, anything basically that you want to see. This would be a super cool diaper bag too. You could just resize those pockets and then you could see the contents of those pockets perfectly. So I'll turn that over for you. The way that I have arranged this tutorial is we're going to head on over to the sewing table, and I am going to show you a few techniques, review a few techniques that you would need to know to craft this beauty. And then in the notes field is a link to a PDF file which you can purchase for $3.99 that has all of the pattern measurements and very concise instructions, and then photos of the process of how to construct this bag. So the benefits of purchasing the PDF, which I've affectionately dubbed Sewspire shortcuts, and tested over on the closed Facebook group page with much success, is that you can then print this, save it, and even potentially collect them, as there'll be additional Sewspire shortcut patterns released in the future. So the only other thing that I wanted to add to this is, I know many of you are on the verge of or already own Etsy shops. And if you would like to make this bag and sell it, you know that you are welcome to do that. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about pricing. I went through and I calculated all the materials to make this and my time as an experienced sewer to make it. And I wanted to let you know that if I were listing this in my Etsy shop, I would charge a retail value of $156 for this bag. So that is something for you to consider. I do not want to see you selling yourself short out there when you are making and then reselling your beautiful creations. I hope that you will consider pricing if you're going to sell yours, and make sure that you are generously compensated for your time and talents. Be successful with this lifestyle tote. There are just a few Sewspire techniques or methods that you will need to understand. The first is the folded pocket technique, and that pocket will be crafted from one continuous cut of fabric, which you will fold in half, press, and then open up and bring the top and the bottom edges inward, and then fold that in half again to create this nice edge at the top of the pocket, which has 4 layers of fabric. You will stitch across that edge to finish the pocket, and then you'll position the pocket on your panel as outlined in the pattern. So in this particular pattern, it is very important to always know where center is on your panels, because everything is going to be positioned from center. So you will stitch across the center of all the panels. In this case, I just press the line, and then position that pocket with the bottom edge up from center as outlined, and then the top finished edge, which has the stitching, will go up on that. So I have the pocket position there, and then I would stitch across the base and then divide that as desired. And then half of that interior is complete. Then I'll just flip that upside down and work on the other half, which in the case of this pattern has clear vinyl pockets. You're going to use the standard Sewspire strap method to craft the trim for these pockets. So I have a piece of clear vinyl there, and then I have the pocket trim, which is folded in half, pressed, open, bring those outer edges in to meet on that center press line, fold that over again and press, and then the little piece of vinyl there that'll fashion the pocket, get some fabric trim at the top and the bottom, and you can pin that in place to hold it. You're going to go ahead and stitch across the top trim, and in this pattern there are 2 of those vinyl pockets, so you'll repeat the process twice. The bottom will just remain pinned, and then the top you're going to stitch in place. And then working again with that interior panel, you would position your clear vinyl pocket up from center, and you can pin that in place and then go ahead and stitch across the bottom of that pocket and divide as desired. Then the second little trick for this pattern is for your pattern pieces that have interfacing or batting, you're going to cut that interfacing and batting 1 inch smaller than the actual pattern piece. And the reason for that is we want to minimize the bulk in all of the seams, because there are multiple layers of fabric coming together here. So the next trick I call sandwich making is that all of the panels, including the side pockets, are crafted by creating these little fabric sandwiches, whereby you craft the panel as I did here, the pocket panel, and then you overlay that top piece of bread, if you will, on top, right side spacing, and then stitch only down those long edges. Now, because there is no bulk from the interfacing or batting in those seams, you don't even have to trim those edges. You can just go ahead and turn that tube or sleeve right side out and then press that nice and flat. When you're working with a vinyl, of course, you'll want to press on the opposite side so that you do not distort or melt your vinyl. And then you take those short ends or raw edges and tuck them inward and press, and then just stitch those closed, and that creates the actual panel, which we duplicate this process, making the exterior panel slightly larger, and then we layer those together and assemble those sides, and almost like magic, this bag starts to take shape. All probably familiar with the Sewspire strap method, which I demonstrated for the trim on the pockets there, where you fold it in half, press, and bring those edges inward to meet on that center press line, and then fold that over again. With this bag, we're going to finish the edges of the straps. So before you begin, press either short end of the strap over and then proceed with your traditional strap making. You will also want to line these straps with Pellon as well, so you have a nice sturdy strap with finished ends, and that is because we are attaching these straps to the exterior of the bag and then positioning them down on that bag. So we don't want to have any raw edges showing. On the outside of this bag, there is on one end, there's a pocket that will hide the handle ends, and then on the other end, there is a strip of fabric. So the strip of fabric wouldn't be an issue. It would hide the raw edges, but when you open your pocket, you're going to see these handle ends. So I thought it best to finish those. Maybe one other little aspect that you're not familiar with is the top of the zipper casing is crafted in the same way that I craft the straps, and then you sandwich that zipper in between that top lining. Other than that, I'm confident that you all have the skills that you need. If you have been watching Sewspire, you will be very successful with this pattern. So I will be back next week with an easy tutorial, start to finish, on video that you're going to enjoy. It is a revised version of the binder cover, so you can look forward to that. And then after that, we're diving into something also totally different and fun. I've been invited to do a craft fair, and I'm going to be creating and videoing the display and the merchandise that I'm taking to this event. And we're going to do that together. That's going to take place over 3 consecutive weeks. So that's going to be fun. And then after that, we'll be back to another Sewspire shortcut tutorial for our advanced bag maker. So that's pretty much like a month. I just zoomed by there. So until we meet again, as always, please know the creative genius in me will be celebrating the creative genius in you. Thank you so much, and have a beautiful week, everyone.